Okay, let's talk about something that can be super stressful. Asking for a medical accommodation at work. You know you need support, but how do you actually ask for it without kicking off a huge, complicated back and forth? It's a really common problem, and if you get it wrong, it can honestly make things even harder. So let's break down how to craft a doctor's note that actually gets the job done.
So that's the big question, right? How do you get a doctor's note that cuts through all the corporate noise and gets you the support you actually need? Well, here's a spoiler. It's not about writing a more dramatic or convincing letter. The real key is making a fundamental shift in your entire approach.
And here's that shift in a nutshell. Most of us, our first instinct is to think we need to prove our suffering, to really convince our employer how much pain we're in. But the most effective approach? It's way simpler and way more direct. Just explain your functional limits. Let's dig into what that really means. First, let's talk about the most common mistake people make. It's an approach that feels so intuitive, it feels like the right thing to do, but it often backfires. Think of it as the courtroom speech, and it's precisely what you want to avoid.
This quote really gets to the heart of the matter. A doctor's note shouldn't sound like some dramatic speech to a jury where you're pleading your case. That's just a fundamental misunderstanding of what HR or a manager actually needs in a corporate setting.
The courtroom speech is all about emotion. It's an attempt to win over a jury, which you see as your HR rep and manager, by detailing all of your suffering. But here's the problem. They aren't a jury. They are problem solvers who need clear, practical information, not a big emotional appeal.
So if it's not a speech, what is it? Well, the effective alternative is to completely reframe the note as a problem-solving memo. And this simple shift in mindset, it changes the entire dynamic. Just look at the difference here when you put them side by side. The tone shifts from emotional to just factual. The goal isn't to win a case, it's to solve a problem together. And crucially, the focus moves away from your internal feelings of suffering and onto your external, observable, functional limits.
This is such a critical point. Your note has one simple job. It's not meant to win the whole case all at once. Its only purpose is to open the next door, to get the conversation with HR started on the right foot. That's it.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, great, I get it, but how do I actually write this problem-solving memo? Well, it comes down to a simple 5-step framework that you can share with your doctor to help build a really effective note. Here they are, the 5 essential parts. First, you state the condition. Second, you define the functional limits it causes. Third, you link those limits directly to your job duties. Fourth, you suggest a specific accommodation. And fifth, you provide a duration or a timeline for a review. That's the whole structure. It's clear, it's simple, and it's professional. Theory is one thing, but let's make this totally concrete. We're going to build an example of an effective doctor's note, step by step, using this 5-part framework.
We start with part 1, the condition. Notice how plain and professional this language is? It doesn't even need to name a specific diagnosis unless that's required. It simply states that a condition exists and broadly describes what it affects. No drama, just the facts.
Next, we add part 2, the limits. Now this is the real heart of the note. This is where you translate the medical condition into concrete work-relevant actions. So instead of saying, my back hurts, it says, symptoms worsen with extended sitting and lifting. It's about function, not feeling. Now we combine parts 3 and 4, the job link and the accommodation. And listen to this phrase, to support continued performance of job duties. That is incredibly powerful. It frames the accommodation not as some special favor, but as a tool for productivity. It immediately shows you're focused on doing your job well.
And finally, we add part 5, the duration. This is so crucial. It signals to your employer that this isn't necessarily a permanent, open-ended change. It's an adjustment with a built-in plan for review, which makes it much, much easier for them to approve.
You've probably picked up on the theme running through all of this, simplicity. So let's talk about why simple, plain language is actually your most powerful tool in this entire process. This quote just nails a crucial workplace reality. A detailed, emotional explanation might connect with the first person who reads it, but that's not what gets passed along in meetings or emails. By the time the message gets from HR to your manager, all that nuance is gone. So what survives? Simple, clear, plain language. That's what makes it through.
At the end of the day, you want to make your note easy to approve. And language that gets the green light tends to have these 3 qualities. It's concrete, describing specific actions like lifting. It's modest, asking for reasonable adjustments. And it's always job-connected,
framed around helping you perform your duties.
So it all comes down to this choice. When you ask for an accommodation, are you writing a courtroom speech that pleads for sympathy, or are you providing a problem-solving memo that presents a clear, professional plan for your continued success at work? The difference is everything.